that type of player is. They just don't fold when they're in the blinds. And everyone folds to my queen's raise. That's okay. This guy seems like he's just sat down. I don't have any stats on him, but I have a kind of a crappy hand here. King 9 is a pretty good hand to limp in with, I think, because this guy's, you know, aggression factor is 0 so far. I feel like it's decent. It's a decent time to limp. It might be slightly positive EV just because I'm suited, and I expect to be slightly better or a lot better than most of these opponents, so it's not awful. In a higher stakes game, obviously limping there out of position is probably going to be negative EV. Oh, when I say EV, I mean expected value, like the average amount of chips you can win in a given play, doing a given play. I raised there with like a weakish ace because my opponent's stats were pretty conservative. Yeah. Under the gun raise. Yeah. This is really standard raise, ace 9 suited on the button against 2 random opponents. It's really just no-brainer. I have some notes on a lot of these opponents whenever I play, and something, you know, out of the ordinary comes up. I like to take notes on my opponents. I wrote that she's calls shove all in on flop with ace high no draw for 50 big blinds. I do not fold. Basically my stats on that person. Yeah, I timed out, but I wasn't going to do anything with that hand. This guy, pocket 5's out of position is a really just standard fold and in full ring. I don't have any reason to believe he's a good player or a bad player. I'm gonna raise ace queen under the gun because I'm suited. Usually I'd fold if it were ace queen offsuit, but I'm suited. It's a little bit better. And the reason I didn't raise 3x is because I don't think it's necessary. We were already showing a lot of strength to raise first to act. So Queen Jack is just a weak hand this early, even though I'm suited. This is a decent time to raise or call, but the player on the button has a 3-bet percentage of like 15 over a decent sample size. Not a great sample size, but you know, if somebody's 3-betting 15% of their hands, when someone raises in late position or middle position and they have a caller and he's on the button, that's a perfect time for that guy to raise, and then I'm put in kind of an awkward spot. So I'm gonna call here with 8s. No reason to raise. A lot of these players will min raise under the gun with like aces. So not a great flop for me. Never slow playing. Never folding. He could be doing pot control with like ace jack or something, so I'm just never gonna slow play and I'm never gonna fold. But I don't like the flop that much. Definitely gonna keep betting. Gonna bet, I guess, pretty big here. It looks like he likes his hand and he's checking fast. A lot of the time when they check fast and out of position after they call on the flop, it means that they want you not to bet that much. They're like, please don't bet a lot, please don't bet a lot, but I'm calling, so I'm gonna bet. I'm gonna bet a good amount. This is really actually close, But I don't think he has 9-10 because I feel like he would raise actually a little bit smaller if he had the nuts. I feel like he either has a set of queens, a set of jacks that he kind of like slow played, or he has like ace queen. Yeah. But there were a lot of hands that I was still beating, like aces that he slow played, kings that he slow played. A lot of people slow play big pairs by just raising small and just calling. He didn't really play that too aggressively. Let's see what he. Yeah, ace jack is like a decent raising hand. My crazy guy is out of position, so it makes him less likely to do something crazy. So I was putting this opponent on something like ace queen, kings or aces that he slow played, or like king queen, or even a hand like queen jack, because a lot of people will flat with queen jack and even slow play on this kind of board. But yeah, it was pretty much queen jack, ace queen, a set of jacks, a set of queens, aces that he slow played or kings that he slow played. People don't really people don't really bluff at this level, at these stakes, like at all. So I knew he had a big hand, but I still feel like given how much money was in the pot already, I think there's plenty of times that I was still ahead, especially because he was a short stack. I've seen people call with like queen 8 suited, even queen 4 suited would probably still be in his range to do this kind of play. But yeah, I'm basically never getting away from that kind of hand, so that's okay. And of course I'm going to put him all in, because what's the point of calling and then going all in for another $1 on the river? So it was either fold or go all in there. Nothing wrong with how I played it. Of course, you guys can feel free to just post. Maybe you have a different opinion. So just post on my channel. See what you guys think. Gonna raise eights again. Kind of a cooler. I mean, we both flop a set on a drawy board. There's so many draws, and it's kind of a cooler, but it's okay. That's why I typically don't actually play small pairs for a call, like smaller than eights, because like you don't think that you're gonna get set over set often, but it really is actually pretty often that you get set over set. This guy is like, I don't know what he might have. Even if he has like a flush draw or like 2 overs to my 8s, I'm not in great position. He might have a weak ace, so it's kind of pointless to call here with 8s. And people play really nitty and passive typically in full ring rush poker. So when I see a big raise on the turn, I know it's a big hand, especially on the turn. 8's pretty standard raise here. I'm getting called by smaller pairs and like weaker hands overall. Similar situation. I flop a set here, and I don't think I'm ever folding this simply because it's so drawy once again, and especially now that the 7 rolled off. I don't think he's ever folding like a queen here. So I'm just going to keep betting like 2/3, 3/4 pot. He might have a flush draw himself. He might have a flush draw and a queen. He didn't have anything. Maybe he had a really weak queen, or like a pair, like a second pair to the board type of thing. Nine's a pretty standard raise. See, like, this is why I like to play with a full stack, because if you get like, if you have like a pretty big advantage over players, why not have a full stack? Especially at the lower stakes. These guys are conservative. 4-0, 0-0, 0-0, unknown. Ace-10 is a raise in this spot. I haven't been 3-bet yet. I usually get 3-bet a whole lot. I don't know what's going on. Flop an ace. There's no point to bloat the pot because he's defending with a lot of aces. Even like, you saw how, a lot of players will, if you've played this kind of stakes before, you've seen how players will like flat with like ace king because they're scared. So there's no reason to bloat this pot. So I'm just gonna keep the pot small. He probably has a similar hand to me: ace jack, ace 9, ace 8, ace queen, whatever. He probably has an ace, but the pot's so big that I'm just gonna keep calling. He might have like a pair of eights that he's just not sure what to do with, and he doesn't want to show weakness, so he's betting small, which is even bigger giveaway that he has. He's if he bets really, I'm gonna make a really pretty thin value bet here because I think he has worse aces, and I think he has like a pair of eights that he might call me up. But I'm just gonna value bet thinly here. Yeah, that was a pretty thin value bet. He had ace jack. I mean, I thought he'd have like ace something. Plenty of his aces were worse than mine, especially because these guys like to call a lot with ace x suited and stuff. But anyway, that I was trying to get value from like a pair of not a pair of nines obviously, but like a pair of eights that flatted and min bet all the streets. Worse aces. It wasn't a bad value bet. It was pretty thin anyway. I'll definitely take a note of this opponent. Let's see, defends with ace jack suited and blinds to late position raiser. That's pretty standard actually. But min bets out of position flop and gonna raise the eights here. Flop and turn. Here I have no reason to believe I have the worst hand. I don't have to bet too much. He could have like king queen, ace x. He could have a bigger pair, he could have a smaller pair. I don't want to give him free cards. I think it's a pretty standard c bet here with eights. Yeah. Min bets out of position. OOP is my out of position shorthand. Flop and turn and checks river with top pair. Kicker on ace low board. My shorthand is really weird. So this guy's pretty passive and stuff, so I guess green or purple is my passive marker for these guys. It's pretty easy to play against those guys. They'll like min bet and then check, and then you're like, oh, you have a weak top pair or like a second pair to the board. But like as you guys can see, like I play really conservatively, and this game has been proving me that, essentially proving me right that playing conservatively is correct, because I've actually been, every time I've made slightly not conservative plays, I've actually over value bet, like value towned myself, or basically that's it, value towning myself. My biggest problem. But I feel like I haven't made any big mistakes yet in this session. Gonna raise up ace queen suited here, pretty standard. Probably gonna play a couple more hands, call this a video, and maybe make another video of like 6 max, or maybe a tournament, maybe a rush, not a rush tournament, a turbo, or like a super turbo, something interesting. Super turbo is actually pretty fun. So I'm gonna call this a video. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for my next video. DemApples signing out.